Joining us now is Democratic Congressman Raúl Grijalva. He represents Arizona's 3rd Congressional District. He's also the chair of the House National Resources Committee. Representative Grijalva, welcome. Thank you so much for being with us.
We know Thank you very much.
It's a difficult time right now, climate-wise, and we know President Biden announced a series of executive orders last week to tackle climate change. Do you think he should officially declare a state of emergency?
I think it's a good first step, dealing with the extreme heat, dealing with all the natural catastrophes that we're having across the country fueled by climate change and the heating of our planet. Yes, it's a good first step. But I think we're reaching a point that absent any action by the Senate, it doesn't look very favorable there to move on some of the more important issues that they have in front of them regarding climate. That emergency executive order is I think, going to become a necessity. This is, in my state, the drought is going on close to 2 decades, and the wildfires across this country, and you're seeing all kinds of other natural disasters, all related to the source, which is the climate change. And given no action on the part of the Senate, I think the next step for the president is going to have to be to declare an emergency.
Representative Grijalva, now that Senator Joe Manchin is most likely opposing any budget proposal with climate provisions, what realistic path is there to passing significant legislation?
Yeah, it's become more difficult when you have one person basically controlling the response to climate and the response to those issues. It's frustrating, and not only for me, I think for people that are very directly affected by it, environmental justice communities, communities across this country that are vulnerable to. And now it's not just some sections, it's the country. And I hope there's a realization on the part of Mr. Manchin and other senators, Republican senators as well, that this is now becoming a public health issue as much as anything else, and an economic issue, because the toll economically for our country is huge, and it's going to continue to grow. The efforts that are being made right now by the president, like I said, it's a good first step, but pending legislation, which will be difficult. I don't disagree. We have a wildfire and extreme heat package on the House floor this week. We also have a markup on a piece of legislation dealing with environmental justice and vulnerable communities on Wednesday. All those are parts and components. But once we do our job here in the House, then it goes into the abyss of the Senate and to the control of one senator, Senator Manchin.
Representative, as you know, people in your state have seen severe heat and wildfires themselves. We saw Phoenix painted streets with a special sealant to absorb the excess heat.
Yes.
What other steps is your state taking to respond to this?
We have the combination. We have the drought and the extreme heat, and both those issues are affected us in a very direct way. The vulnerability of wildfires, particularly in the northern Arizona, is upon us, and all those communities have contacted us about their concern and what the federal government needs to do or should do about it. And the other is the drought, the loss of water, the lowering of the Colorado River, all posing not only danger to human life and to life in general, but to the economic well-being of 5 basin states that the Colorado River serves. So, conservation is part of it. Response time is part of it. Fire suppression is part of it. But the fundamental issue is really that we have to have a transition period to lower the vulnerability of not only my state, but other parts of the country. And we're not doing that right now. And I think that's why I go back to the point that an emergency declaration on the part of the president is becoming a necessity.
Representative Raúl Grijalva, thank you for taking the time to join us.
Thank you.
And very kind. Thank you for inviting.